Hello and welcome to the Dominion Daily for July 21st, 2025. We've got a base and base kingdom today. Yeah, I think this is so we had on Friday, I think it was, we had a mono set plunder day when they're supposed to be 3 sets, and now I've got a mono set base day when they're supposed to be base plus something else. That seems the getting those back to back seems incredibly unlikely, but here we are. So we've got Chapel, Sentry, and Remodel for trashing. We've got Draw from Lab, and then Witch. There's also Library, and Moat. Festival only plus actions, gains from Festival, and then Remodel as well. And then we got some strong attacks in Militia and Witch. So there is Moat to potentially help against that, but Moat does not look like a very appealing card to have in your deck otherwise. So yeah, this could be a pretty rough one. In theory, Festival Library as a Militia counter could be a thing, but I don't know how viable it's going to be to do that overall, as opposed to just playing with a bunch of labs. That seems more straightforward. It also would play better with vassals, although I'm not sure how much. Well, Sentry Vassal does work pretty well, so playing with Vassal could certainly be a thing. Although, I don't know about the priority on getting a Sentry because we got Chapel as well. I think at the very least, I think the opening here is Chapel Militia. We want to get thin. If the Chapel collides, anything the Chapel collides with makes, that's bad. So the fact that we're opening double terminal, I think is, in that situation, I think is fine. And if we can Militia the bot's Chapel hand, that's good. We're going to want a Militia anyway. So yeah, I'm going to go Chapel Militia. Okay, so we just hit 5 here. That's interesting. They go Chapel Remodel. All right. I'm actually not that excited about Remodel here. Remodeling Estates is not that good on this board. And hitting, there's not a gold gainer, so remodeling into provinces is going to be pretty slow too. In any case, question now, what is our first 5? I think almost any of them are reasonable. Not Library, but we've got 2 terminals. That's the argument for Festival. Lab is just generically good here, and there's at least a case to be made that trying to decollide the 2 terminals that we have right now is not that critical. Sentry, of course, is just a good card, can help us clean up, potentially reduce the number of times we need to play the Chapel, and then of course Witch is Witch. We're certainly not going to hit 5 again this shuffle. So keeping that in mind, there's a good chance that we hit 0 essentially next turn, and we play Chapel and don't buy anything. If we bottom deck our Chapel, then the most likely thing to buy is either Silver or Vassal. If we want to make it Vassal, that would push a little bit more towards Festival. Yeah, I think getting the plus actions now while we can. All right, so we get to trash 2 of our estates. It's not a perfect shuffle, but it's darn close. Now, so I think we either go lab or witch at this point. Um, hmm. Got chapel and 3 coppers down there. I guess it could also be sentry. But we can also, like, if we're adding draw, we can just chapel to like to get all the stuff out of the deck. I mean, eventually maybe we take a remodel or a sentry to try to trash the chapel, but this is assuming. I mean, if the bot ends up getting a witch, we might not even want to trash the chapel. But the point is, like, lab might put in about as much work in terms of cleaning up the rest of our junk as sentry would anyway. So I think I prefer lab to sentry right now. Which I think we just get that a little bit later when we're not already like when we're not as much trying to play the 2 other terminals. All right. Well, actually, so next turn we have festival, lab, copper estate. We're to play militia now. The thing is, like, the bot has very little like going on in its deck. If we can continue to play militia, I think it'll hurt pretty badly. Like try to keep him from hitting 5. Grab another lab. I actually think, yeah. All right, well, unfortunately we did not. Just gonna take one more lab. So we can either trash 1 copper and get yet another lab, or possibly another festival. We can trash 2 and take a vassal. We have 2 labs down there. We're gonna draw like most of our stuff off of that. If we get militiaed, their deck has 5 cards in it. Wow. I think I'm gonna go with the vassal. Perfect. Okay, so this turn we probably want to get another festival. We could just trash like 1 copper and get festival vassal just to ramp our payload a little faster. The goal of adding a witch next turn. Or we could just trash all 3 coppers, take the festival, then we have 8 coins next turn. We add Witch Vassal at that point. That might make more sense. Actually, wait. We could just add the Witch now. But I guess I'd like the money. Remodeled the Militia. That's an interesting choice. All right, I think we want another festival. Could take a sentry just to try to set up these vassals. Honestly, we've got enough draw. We could just take double festival and be reasonably likely to still draw our deck. Definitely not guaranteed because there's enough stop cards, but get 10 coins now. We'd have 12 coins next turn. We take 1 festival versus 14 if we take 2. We could also take a remodel the chapel. If we do that, obviously there is the risk that the bot eventually does play with Witch. Hmm. 14 next turn would be enough for 2 5s and a remodel. I think I'm just going to go double festival. It's really hard to keep track of what all they're doing with this. I guess it's not. It's only the 1 remodel, though. Okay, I guess it's not actually that bad. All right. We should probably get another lab. And then the remodel. 1 more festival. Or do we want to just, like, next turn, we had 14 coins. If we remodel Chapel to a Vassal, we'll have 16 coins. I think that's fine. I think we just take another lab. Just to try to make sure we draw. So we could start greening. We don't really need to, though. We've got a points lead. The bots deck doesn't do very much. I think I'm just going to take the last 2 labs. Take another couple of vassals. Not super threatening a pile out off of that, but maybe a little bit. Well, now we are. Assuming we draw. which, wow. I was gonna say, even despite all that, pretty likely to be drawing. Okay, so I mean, we might as well. No, okay. We don't even need to play the remodel to win. I guess we might as well. Remodel lab to festival. This is really not how I was expecting this to play out, but the militia, the bot just could not get out from under it, and it didn't, like, yeah, I mean, this is why I strongly prefer my opening. I didn't even play the militia until turn 5 either, but yeah, I guess I said it wasn't a perfect shuffle. I mean, one of the reasons it wasn't a perfect shuffle is because I could have had, hit 5 turn 3 while playing the militia. Like, that would have obviously been better. But nonetheless, the bot just like didn't have like a deck. When did it finally get a festival? Okay, so turn 9, it remodeled its militia into a festival. I got a festival on turn 3. That's a little bit sooner. Yeah, I think it's just a like, you really want to be playing multiple terminals here, and remodel isn't really one of those terminals that you want to be playing, and it isn't helping you get to the point where you can do it either. I mean, ultimately, so the bot like remodeled, didn't see, well, it didn't play, so I'm assuming, yeah, so it collided Chapel remodel, which is why it only chapeled 3 cards, so that's already not great. Buys a vassal, which is another terminal that is not that likely to line up in that context. And then, yeah, it gets attacked, and so it can only chapel 2 cards. And then remodels the state to militia. And it's like, you could have just taken the militia to begin with. And granted, they got an estate out of the deck, but that's an estate. Like, I mean, I guess you could assume that, oh, they would have collided the militia and the chapel on turn 3 or 4, whatever it was. And I think it was turn 3. And so they would have. I guess it's fair to say that, like, there's some value in this, but then, like, you have, it basically just means you have a remodel in your deck instead of an estate, which still isn't actually that, like, generally useful in this position because they were like super over terminaled. But with the militia in the deck, they'd at least have had a chance to find it not colliding with the chapel and then play it and hit 5. So yeah, I think that's the big thing here. The bot is generally like pretty good at finding ways to use remodel and similar cards to, like, get something going. But I just think on this board it doesn't really work very well, because you need to hit 5. That's the big thing, and remodel is just not helping you do that. At least not until you add some 3 costs into your deck and then remodel them, or 4 cost in the case of like the bot remodeling its militia, but that took ages. Anyway, yeah, well, there you have it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.